slacking and fight over Long Branch development. Eminent domain opponent Denise Hoagland on Tuesday walked up to the podium and issued a challenge to Mayor Adam Schneider. Prove you are really interested in negotiating a settlement in the Marine Terrace, Ocean Terrace, and Seaview Avenue case. Hoagland of Metosa, a local anti-eminent domain group, was critical of Schneider's statement that he still is interested in settling the controversial case, which is now before the State Appellate Division after the city prevailed at the trial level. So Schneider did. City Attorney James G. Aaron produced 3 letters the lawyer had written to Peter H. Wegener, a Lakewood attorney who, along with the Institute for Justice, an Arlington, Virginia law firm, is representing the majority of Metosa property owners and who are fighting eminent domain. The city has settled with half the 38 property owners. Aaron's letters are dated October the 8th and November 28th, on which Aaron wrote 2 letters. In one, Aaron wrote, "The city is anxious to return to the negotiating table, and timing is critical." Timing is an issue for the Metosa side as well. Lawyers representing the property owners met with the city on October 11th to discuss a settlement, but on October 24th, the city filed a motion seeking to block the Institute, which is representing the property owners, for free and whose lawyers are specialists in eminent domain, from representing Metosa. That motion failed, and Hoagland said that's a nice tactic. It's not a fair game. Schneider alleged it was the one thing I would undo. It wasn't the right move. Well, you know, Adam, it's about time you're starting to admit you've made quite a few mistakes. I'm willing to discuss settling this case, Schneider said. I've been willing since this became controversial to settle the case. Well, if there was no controversy, he would not want to settle. I think it will be a very difficult negotiation, judging from the names we are called at council meetings. They have got to be intermediaries. You can't sit there and call me a liar when we've been very consistent about saying what we're going to do. Both sides agreed after the October 8th meeting. Both sides agreed not to discuss the specifics publicly and would only stipulate the issues they focused on. Had nothing to do with money. But Schneider isn't sure what the attorneys are telling their clients. We were prepared to redesign the plan to help them save their homes. Well, you know what? It's the first he's ever admitted he was willing to do that. And I don't want to read it because then I don't want to have to call him something he doesn't want to be called. Schneider said he's confused. I'm sure he is. The Metosa response that the city is looking for a list of people who will sell. Rather, he said the request for information came from Wegener, who said October 11th that he needed to go back to his clients to find out such things as who would be willing to relocate within the Metosa enclave. Institute for Justice Senior Attorney Scott G. Bullock, who also attended the October 8th negotiating session, said the best thing the city could do to demonstrate good faith is dismiss the eminent domain complaints against the property owners. And that would be a sure sign. Bullock referred to a redevelopment plan Metosa had put together, which was abandoned after the city sent Metosa a letter asking for additional information that Metosa maintained it had no ability to answer. We were very clear the property owners want to keep their homes, Bullock said. Their position is they are not planners, they are not developers, Bullock said. If the city has something in mind whereby the eminent domain actions are dropped and the homes are saved, reconfiguring the development to make that more feasible, I'm happy to listen to what they have to say and present it to the property owners. More than just land. Councilman Brian Unger, who campaigned with Metosa's support, said the possibility of relocation includes another lot, a 1-acre parcel on the oceanfront just north of the beach club, but he said that a position might be about more than just the land. The ones who are the leaders of the group are in it for principle at this point, he said. It is difficult to negotiate with the city when this is a political and moral principle, and I think it is going to be difficult to move off this baseline. Still, Unger asked Aaron to prepare 2 maps. One which would show what the relocated neighborhood would look like near the beach club, and one in which the residences were clustered on Ocean and Marine Terrace. He said something visual might help convince the residents to give negotiations a second chance. I ask the city and the developers to exercise additional compassion and to understand emotions, and to try to understand one reason the residents have been reluctant to negotiate is there is a lot of emotional history here, and it has become a great political and moral issue, and most of these folks are willing to stick it out on principle rather for their own personal gain, and I'm not particularly sanguine there will be a settlement until we hear from the higher courts. Move past the anger. Unger said both sides should move past the anger. Meanwhile, Schneider is proposing any future negotiations be done in the presence of the press to prevent the inevitable spin. Interesting. They don't want to talk in public at council meetings, but they want to negotiate in public. Okay. They use the press to their advantage to garner sympathy, but I don't think they've been very honest about this, Schneider said. We're willing to put everything on the table to resolve this. If they really want to negotiate, fine. If they want the court to decide it, fine. You know, Mr. Schneider, you won't speak to the public in a public portion for fear of how it will go into the paper, or that it would even go into the paper. Bring to the next council meeting, Mr. Schneider, the original title and deed to Mr. Liu's property on the beachfront, and let us compare the square footage of the Liu property to the Diaco property at the public meeting. Anyway, this was Brown. This was the Brown Report for Monday, February the 19th. I'll be back tomorrow on Tuesday, God willing. And may the good Lord continue to strengthen the opposers of eminent domain abuse. May the good Lord open the hearts with compassion of those looking to strip property away from private owners for private gain. That's wrong. And may God allow me to return tomorrow. This is Brown. This was the Brown Report. God bless you all.